On the injury front, Kareem has a calf injury that's significant, so he'll miss some time. That's in the weeks. And then Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah has an ankle injury that's also significant, so he'll miss some time. That's also in the weeks. And then Baker with the shoulder, we'll just gather more information over the next couple days on him, as well as Odell with the shoulder. Just going to gather some information, see how those guys do over the next 48 hours, call it.
That is a depressing injury update
Man,
from Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski. Kareem Hunt gone. Nick Chubb already missed Sunday's game with a calf injury of his own, and it was obvious that Kareem Hunt was not going to be back anytime soon. The way he went down on contact, I'm surprised it wasn't more serious than just a matter of weeks. It looked like it was going to be months. And then you've got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who's going to be gone for weeks with the ankle injury. The big question, though, is Baker Mayfield. He's getting a second opinion after getting an MRI on the non-throwing shoulder. And you know how second opinions go. You get them not to confirm the first one. You get them because you didn't like the first one.
Right. Yes, that's
And
scary.
the first one may have been, hey, Baker, it's time to shut it down and get this thing surgically repaired.
Well, we know the injury. I mean, Baker's tough. I don't ever second-guess him that way, and there's no doubt. He's playing with a banged-up left shoulder. And what I would worry about it, just the way that looked like, I mean, man, was he really stretched out and put in a tough position there.
Ugh.
To where you would think it could have possibly torn more of that labrum. Maybe it dislocated, quickly. I mean, when you look at it from this angle and look at how his arm and shoulder were, oh, my gosh. I mean, that's brutal that way there. That really is. So that's what's scary, certainly. And the good thing is, they got Case Keenum. Case Keenum is, in my opinion, one of the better backup quarterbacks in all of football. But, man, I'm going to be interested to see how this plays out with Baker and that left shoulder, because I would think it is fairly serious.
And I don't know how much wearing that harness affected his ability to get his arm down and not have that compromising spot there. But he's been wearing a harness after having the dislocation back in week 2. Reminder, too. Kids, if you play quarterback, don't go make a tackle after a turnover. Don't do it. Remember we had the conversation about Brian Flores saying it was great that Tua went and stuck his head in there after he threw an interception in the preseason? No. Don't do it. Protect yourself. Get out of the fray. No one is going to call you chicken because you preserved your health. If Baker Mayfield doesn't do that back in week 2 against the Texans, he's not dealing with these issues. So I'm concerned that he was advised to have surgery and shut it down maybe for the rest of the season. This is a guy who's trying to prove that he deserves a major second contract. I don't know what substantive offers the Browns made, but clearly they don't have anything done. And now he's in a position where either he's going to play impaired or he's not going to be playing at all. And there's a certain point where the performance with the impairment, we talk about this all the time, the starter below 100, at what point is that worse than just going with the backup at 100?
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to gauge. There's no doubt about it. I mean, again, too, I think with the circumstances you're laying out, of course, the contract and everything there, he's going to want to play. He's not going to want to give anybody else a chance with this football team to go in and succeed and maybe make him look bad either. That's got to be in the back of his head. And, of course, their season's hanging in the balance. I mean, it's hanging in the balance. The Browns are 3-3. I mean, I don't know what else to say. They're in a big spot here. The Browns are 3-3. I actually can't believe I'm saying that. The Browns have one of the 5 best rosters in football. For them to be 3-3 is concerning. I don't know any other way to say it. And it's hard to get a feel for what they really are. Yeah, they feasted on the weak, their defense. Man, I mean, they feasted on the weak, with the Houston Texans and the Bears. And then, okay, the Minnesota Vikings is a good offense, but there's a lot of common knowledge there of how that team plays because of Stefanski. So, the offense has had moments of being inconsistent. Baker's been a little bit all over the place. The defense, I mean, when they play a good offense, they just get absolutely shredded. And there's no excuse for it. There's not. There's talent everywhere across the board. So it is a big moment for Cleveland. There's expectations there this year. I know I had them, and they're real because they're good. There's no other excuse. They're messing this up right now, and that's where it's big this week.
Defense gave up 13 total points in 2 games against the Bears and the Vikings, 84 points the past 2 games against the Chargers and the Cardinals. Short week to get ready for the Broncos, who are reeling after starting 3-0. They're now 3-3, but after the Broncos, Chris, it's the Steelers and the Bengals. And here are the Steelers at 3-3. Imagine that. From the Browns at 3-1 to the Steelers at 1-3 to both at 3-3, how quickly things change. And yeah, the Browns are in a really tough spot now, and defensively, offensively. And if Case Keenum comes in, now I know Odell Beckham Jr.'s got a shoulder injury too. If he comes in and he starts throwing it all over the place and he starts throwing it to Odell Beckham
that's
Jr.,
what I'm saying, yeah.
You are going to have some chatter in Cleveland. And you are going to have some people who wonder, hey, look, I love Baker Mayfield's aggressiveness, his tenacity, the moxie, but the spirit is willing, and sometimes the flesh is not as talented as other quarterbacks in the league. And I don't know where I would put Baker Mayfield right now. Not top 5, not top 10. And he becomes the potential cautionary tale, the Carson Wentz, Jared Goff type figure, where if you pay him in a couple of years, you may regret it, Chris.
Well, it is a little bit that way. I mean, yeah, it's hard to get a total feel for what he is. It starts off the year kind of good and then goes into a little bit of a tailspin, really, to where it's not been good football, over the last few weeks, let alone some careless turnovers in the game the other day. They went down 14-0, and it's a fumble, it's an interception, and then, of course, the fumble we show later on. The defense held the Cardinals to some field goals and let them hang around the football game. But the play is a little bit all over the place right now. And I think that's what's concerning. And, yeah, with that team and the talent they have, I would be worried if I'm him and I'm going, wait, Case Keenum's going to go in, and I know he's pretty good, and he understands this offense has been successful. So that's going to play the part of, like, what you talked about earlier in the segment, Mike, that, yeah, he's going to want to play. He's going to do everything he can, because he's not going to want to give Case Keenum a chance. Not in this year, not with them being 3-3, not with that talent they have on that football team. So, I think it's fair to question Baker Mayfield right now. As much as I respect him, it's just, man, every time I think, okay, he's got it, look, he's playing good, he goes into a funk of bad decisions and inaccurate throws, and that's a little bit where we are right now.
And with that team, the way it's built, it's not quarterback driven, and if your quarterback isn't driving it, there has to be fair questions asked. And I know he doesn't like that. That's part of his appeal. He gets salty. Remember a couple years ago? It's like every week he had some sort of a little pissy comment to a reporter, and he's kind of evolved past that. But, hey, not every guy who's taken first overall is going to become a perennial Pro Bowler and All-Pro and potential Hall of Famer, and it's entirely possible that of those guys, the 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round in 2018, we're trying to figure out where Sam Darnold fits. We're trying to figure out where Baker Mayfield fits too. We know the bottom is Josh Rosen. The top is Josh Allen / Lamar Jackson.
Right.
Take your pick.
Yeah.
The other two, it could be ultimately a 40% success rate by the time it's all said and done. All right, we should take a break.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.